week since I've been on. Oh my goodness, life is crazy. A lot of stuff has happened. But this will probably be the last show I do from this house, and the next show will be from the hotel I'll be in until I move into our new house on the 1st of September. But yeah, glad to be back. I've been meaning to get on. A lot's happened since my last show. Now, whenever your show's still small, live shows can be a hit or miss. Hopefully, it's a hit. It's kind of late. It's 11:15 Central Time, my time, 21st of August. So if you're on the East Coast, it's past midnight. If you're on the West Coast, then it's only at 9:21. So if this is the first time y'all catching Charles in Charge Cowboy Sports Report, hit that subscribe button, guys. It costs you nothing. It's free. 79 away from 500. When I hit 500, I have a raffle for an Emmitt Smith Rookie of the Year card giveaway. When I hit 1,000, a raffle for a autographed Larry Allen football from training camp back in '01. Arguably the greatest offensive lineman ever played. So the raffle, the prices I'm going to give out on the show are going to be worth, value. And yeah, hit that subscribe button, guys. It costs you nothing. If you turn out you don't like my content, you can press unsubscribe. Costs you nothing. Same thing. It's a free investment because this show is going to grow into one of the shows that you look forward to watching, whether you're a Fish at Six person, a Law Nation guy, Tom Downey guy, a Mark Holmes guy, whatever your flavor is. I've got my own style, and you'll like my flavor. I've been doing this for a while now, but I don't cut videos as often as everybody else like I need to. I'm going to be getting on that, especially this season. So hit that subscribe button. I implore you. You will not be disappointed. And when I hit 500, the channel can monetize, and that will go to getting, a good microphone, desktop for graphics and video, where I can show you things opposed to explaining them, and studio equipment, sound bites, and a call-in line when I do live shows like Law does. Nobody else does call-in except for Law. I don't understand. That's like the biggest draw of his show is people call in so they can be heard and express, what they feel about certain things. But the last time, it was 7 days ago, last time I did a show, and right after that, we made the trade for Jordan Phillips. So in this last 7 days, a lot's happened. A lot's happened. And what surprises me is that Jordan Phillips trade came from the Giants. Why would the Giants do an in-division trade, especially to the team that spanked them twice last season, 40-0, 49-17? Shout out for North Korea. What's going on, my man? What North Korea? What time is it over there? We got Cowboy fans around the world. But yeah, what surprised me about that trade was the Giants making us better. I was very surprised that they did that. I can't hear you. Man, incredible style. To quit. Cowboy Nation. All right, can y'all hear me or not? Because it's my Galaxy and I right now, and I need to actually get a new Galaxy. Can y'all hear me? If y'all can hear me, just put a thumbs up or something. All right, cool. I appreciate it, Bubbly. Yeah, guys, if this is the first time y'all catching my content, I implore you to subscribe. Like I said, when I opened up on this video, I'm 79 away from 500. When I hit 500, we have a raffle. I have a raffle for Emmitt Smith Rookie of the Year card giveaway. When I hit 1,000, an autographed Larry Allen football giveaway. But yeah, in this last 7 days, the Cowboys are actually acting like they want to do something this season. They've made 3 moves, all on the same side of the ball. We all figured Linville Joseph was going to get signed one way or another. How old am I? Go Joe Power. I like the Cowboys. I'm 37. Go Joe Power. So my first game I witnessed was Super Bowl 28 against Buffalo. So that night I fell in love with the Cowboys. No rhyme, no reason. I was living in Houston at the time, like I am now. So yeah, I've been following this team for 30 years. Played the game my entire youth. Been a student of the game my entire life. And then my last Bubbly, I was my my last video, right after I finished it, 30 minutes later, then I see Law go live because we traded for Jordan Phillips. And the man is 6'6", 342 pounds. We don't need a whole lot of stats from the guy. We just need him to clog the middle. That's been the Achilles heel for this defense last 3 years. I was born during the Cowboy game, Bubba Lee says. That is funny. I'm 5'4", 260 pounds. I was born during the Cowboy game. That's bubbly. That's actually I like that. Tyrone Church. Message retracted. Okay. Forza Clips. No, I didn't play the NHL. No, NHL. Hockey. No, man, I've never even been in hockey's I guess Northern State type deal. But we finally we finally do something about the weakness on the defense. Mike Zimmer must have made enough noise. All right, I'm not going to answer stupid questions. Go Packers, go. Finley the dog. Yeah, you know what? We all have a sour taste in our mouth from that playoff game. I'm not sad to see Dan Quinn go after that playoff game. Mike Zimmer, he knows what he needs to do. He made enough noise. We trade for Jordan Phillips. He hasn't been a world beater. He's not a Vita Vea. He's not a Nanabakong Su. He's not a player of that caliber, but he's a very good rotational piece in the middle. I'm just very surprised the Giants would trade him to us for a 6th-round pick and then give us the 7th also. You would think that if they were going to trade him, they would trade him out of the division, not to us. But we'll take him. You know what I mean? 340 pounds, big body. That's what you need in the middle is big mass. We've been lacking that for a long time now. And then right after that, we signed Carl Lawson since Sam Williams is gone for the season. He's no world beater either, but he's a decent rotational piece. Jordan Phillips, he's 31. Carl Lawson's 29. And Carl Lawson's best season, you could say, was 2017. He had 8.5 sacks. He was drafted in 2017. Last 3 seasons with the Jets, Carl Lawson signed a big deal, a 3-year, $45 million deal with the Jets. Last 3 seasons have been disappointed. You know, the team's been disappointed with his production or lack of. He missed 28 games the last 3 seasons, but he missed the entire year of 2021. So that's 17 games right there of the 28. But a good rotational piece at defensive end. You know, he's like your Dorrance Armstrong type end. Not really a Fowler type end that we lost, but a Dorrance. He's 6'2", 260 pounds. So you put that 260-pound defensive end, Carl Lawson, you put that with a Marshawn Nealon and a Tank Lawrence, and you got 3 defensive ends that could play the run pretty well. And the only thing that's been hurting this defense is run defense. So if he can play run defense pretty good and he still get you the passer, then Carl Lawson, that $2 million deal we gave him, I mean, the max is 2.125, will be worth the money. And then, last but not least, Linval Joseph. We all pretty much saw this coming because he's a Mike Zimmer guy. He knows the defense, but he's 35 years old. He's the only one out of the 3 guys that we've acquired in this last week that's made a Pro Bowl. Jordan Phillips has never made a Pro Bowl. Either has Carl Lawson. Linval Joseph has. That's a long time ago. He is strictly just a body to rotate in the middle to keep people fresh. Last season, he didn't but play in 7 games. He didn't start any. He had 12 tackles, 7 solo. He had 1 sack. Linval Joseph's best season was in 2016 under Mike Zimmer with Minnesota, 77 tackles, 4 sacks. That was a young Linval Joseph. That was 8 years ago. That's when he was like 27. With Philly now, you know, he played for Philly back in, 22, right? When he played for Philly, he played, started 8 games. So he can, you know, that was only 2 years ago, and he made an impact on that defensive line. So if he can do that too, between Jordan Phillips and Level Joseph, having those big bodies in the middle, to keep everybody fresh is the key. And we're still crossing our fingers that first round pick Mozzie Smith makes a jump in year two. First time we drafted a defensive tackle in round one since Russell, Maryland, and that was what, 92? 91, 92, something like that. So I like the moves. They're all defensive line moves. We're good at linebacker. We're good at corner. We're good at safety. Defensive line was the only, weakness on the defense. Not so much on the edge, but in the middle. And we've addressed it. And we address it in a big, slur in 1 week. 3 acquisitions. Very rare for Cowboys to do that. Very rare for Steven or Jerry to do that, as y'all well aware. It depends on how long y'all been watching the Cowboys. If y'all been watching since the 90s, this would look like something Jerry Jones would do back in the 90s. But as in the last 10 years, you know, surprising but good. Now, there's talks about running back Damian Pierce from the Texans struggling in training camp. Last season, didn't do too much. In 2022, he was basically a 1,000-yard rusher. He was like 930 some yards. He was pretty good in 2022, but the Texans, even last season, they have no offensive line. So unless you're just a transcendent running back, like a Barry Sanders or an Adrian Peterson or a Derrick Henry or something, a running back's not going to do much without an offensive line. I mean, Zeke in his prime, who that we see y'all this year? Oh yeah, the Saints. What's that? That's a September game, right? That's like week 3 or something, I think. Uh, I think it's an away. I don't know if it's a home or away game or not. So much crap has happened this week. I don't have all my notes in front of me, but yeah, we'll be seeing y'all, my man, Travis Meloyer. um, this is a Cowboy show, man, but I talk all NFL. I talk all teams. Football is just a passion of mine. I could talk about it for hours, and it goes by like minutes. If you love the sport like I do. So, Tavis, my bad, dog. Subscribe, man, because when the raffle goes, when I hit 500 for the rookie card, if you're subbed, you'll be in a raffle. If you're not, you won't. So I implore you to hit that subscribe button. If you don't like my content in the future, you can press unsubscribe. It's free either way. It's just a free investment. Yeah, so Damian Pierce now, rumors, and this is a rumor I'm not just dismissing. This is something I could see us doing. Trev Nielsen, October 13th. Y'all boys getting whooped by the Lions. That's going to be a fun rematch, dog. That's going to be a fun rematch. You remember last year's game? I'm surprised I survived that night. That was a stressful game. Dan Campbell, 3 2-point conversions in a row. After the second one, I would have just went for overtime if I was him, but we've won the last 16 and 17 at home. It's going to be a home game for us. The games that look, like they're going to be a little bit of trouble will be at Pittsburgh, at San Fran, at Philly, just because we have not proven to be a good road team yet. That's why I keep saying week 1 against Cleveland is pivotal. It's pivotal for the season. Yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah, man. It was, but that game basically made y'all get the 3rd seed because we had that tiebreaker, but y'all still made it to the chip game. You know what I mean? The Lions had made it to the chip game since the 91 season, I believe. Yeah, the 91 season we broke into the playoffs, beat Chicago, then went to Detroit, got stomped, and y'all went to the NFC Championship game. And y'all, I think it was the Giants y'all lost to. So, y'all did lose against us, but y'all made it to the NFC. And y'all gave San Fran a game, too. I give you that. I mean, it was in the Bay, and y'all are a dome team, and y'all didn't lay down. Y'all were game. I thought y'all might. You actually, y'all should have won that game. The Lions should have been in the Super Bowl. It would have been pretty ironic, pretty interesting to see the Bengals in the Super Bowl in 21 and the Lions in 23. But it that game can go either way. That game can go either way. Uh, Damn, guys, we're getting close to week one. September 8th is week one for me. So what? The Thursday night game, that's what, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So that'd be September 4th, I think, would be the Thursday night game, which I didn't even look to see who's playing on that. But Dameon Pierce, if Houston is willing to deal him, we have a bunch of day 3 picks for the 2025 draft. A bunch of day 3 picks. And if Houston is putting him up on the shopping block because they don't believe he can play, I would grab him in a heartbeat. Send a 6th round pick that way. Bring him in and see what he can do. Because without an offensive line, a running back can only do so much. Zeke in 2016, 17, 18, when he was balling out, had a hell of an offensive line to do it behind. DeMarco Murray, who was not an elite running back in his career. He was adequate. He was good. It was never elite. Broke the single season rushing record for the Cowboys in 14 with over 1,800 yards because he had a young Ty Smith, a young Frederick, rookie and Zach Martin, Ronald Leary at left guard, Doug Free at right tackle. A good front 5 that could run block. Our offensive line is young and stout. It's more of a run blocking line than a pass blocking line. Tyler Guyton right now looking very good. Connor Beebe, the way he played against the Raiders, Brock Hoffman's going to really have to battle for that job. I want Connor Beebe to win that center job. But then you're looking at 2 rookies on the offensive line that sounds scary, hypothetically, but it could also work out beautifully. You know what I mean? Connor Beebe is a freaking beast. And that's one I want to get that desktop so I can put the film out and show certain things, like that one clip that Law put out where Connor takes a defensive tackle, puts him on his ass, and then picks up the blitzing linebacker, puts him on his ass. It's pretty good for a guy who's never played center. He's been a guard his whole collegiate career. He's getting reps at guard and center in training camp, of course, but the way he looked at center against the Raiders was pretty impressive. And Tyler Guyton's been everything we've hoped he would be so far. He just, has some soreness right now, so missing some time, just like Brandon Cooks. Not really an injury, nothing to worry about. When it gets to slate in the training camp, we don't take no chances. But the last straw really to do is to bring in one more running back. Bring in one more back that has some youth to him. I mean, I know Dowdle, he's still young. I think Rico, if he's healthy, could have a 1,300-yard season. But if the Texans put Dameon Pierce on the shopping, on the trading block, send a 6th round pick that way. Why not? I mean, we traded a 4th for Trey Lance, who I'm not impressed with at all. Giving the kid every excuse in the book. I don't think Trey Lance is a NFL starting caliber quarterback. I think he's a quarterback 2 at best. Blake Broadwater, what's going on, big dog? Oh no, Alliance fans still mad about last season's game. Keep that same energy. I hope y'all still go for it on 4th down every time. What's going on, Blake? If this is your first time checking out my content, man, hit that subscribe button. Like I keep saying, 79 away from 500. When I hit 500, the Emmitt Smith Rookie of the Year card raffle will commence. And when I hit 1,000, the Larry Allen signed football, will be raffled away too, man. But yeah, I can't wait for that matchup. There was so many huge. This season is going to be freaking phenomenal. There's so many big matchups on the schedule opposed to last year. Starting with week 1, because we've been an average at best road team the last 3 seasons. Been pretty good home team. So week 1 at Cleveland, I keep stressing if we go to Cleveland and pull out that win, that's going to set the tone for the entire season. Because we have 9 home games, 8 away games. Good content. I appreciate it, my man. Happy to see the channel growing. Yeah, it's man. I started doing this in mid, actually late season 21, but I don't put out content every day like everybody else. So I guess you got to do that to really get to grow fast. I guess I don't know, but I I'm gonna start doing that since I'm close to 500, and that's when the channel monetizes now, and I can start putting back into it and actually get a studio. Uh, this season you'll be seeing a lot of me. Uh, but yeah, there's so many big games. But week 1, if we go to Ohio and come out with a W against a playoff team of last year that has a stout defense, a good offense, I don't care if we win the game 13-10. There's probably be a defensive battle that will set the tone for the entire season. Because, like I said, 9 home games, 8 away games this year. As you know, flip flops every year. So, being that the first game's on the road again, if we knock off Cleveland, then it's 9 home games, 7 away games the rest of the season. And 3 of those 7 away games is Carolina, Giants, and Washington. So that leaves basically 4 tough road games. That's Pittsburgh, San Fran, Philly, and one other team that's not as stellar as those other guys. But all the other big time matchups, Baltimore, Detroit, Houston, Philly again, those are going to be at the crib. That favors us big time. 2009, when we started playing at AT&T Stadium, there was no home field advantage. It was like a neutral field. Just because, I don't know, it just was what it was. Aaron Rodgers was more comfortable playing there than in Lambeau. But as of late, the last 2-3 seasons, we finally have made that stadium home field advantage for us. I mean, hell, we were 2 wins away from tying the franchise home win record, with 18 in a row. And we were hoping to do that in the playoffs. 16 in a row. We're the 2 seed. We're like, we got Green Bay coming in, knock them off. And then in round 2, whoever comes in, we were already looking at San Fran in the chip game. We overlooked the 7 seed, which in the playoffs, even though they wouldn't have been a playoff team 4 years ago, you never overlook a team like that in January. And they were getting better throughout the season, a lot better than week 1. Week 1, first half of the year, Green Bay went too hot. Last half of the season, they started getting some steam. I think the team overlooked them, and I think Dan Quinn, I don't think his head was in it. Think the Jets, hey, what's going on, Trev Nielsen? You think the Jets make a run? Yes, I do. If Aaron Rodgers, plays, they have a hell of a running back duo now. That running back they took is the running back we should have took with pick 87. I know we got that good linebacker out of Notre Dame, but I wanted a rookie with fresh legs. Everybody did. Amari may try to get some type of revenge. I've been saying that, Blake. I've been saying that's the Amari Cooper revenge game too, week 1. That's why I think it's imperative that Diggs is in form come week 1. He knows Amari. He practiced against Amari many times. And Trayvon is a different species. You know what I mean? Like you got an Adrian Peterson who can tear his ACL, come back the next season, and be 14 yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson's record. And then you got a Michael Gallup who can tear his ACL and then just never be the same. Even in the second, last season, 2 years removed from the injury, wasn't the same guy. And then winds up retiring after signing with the Raiders because he knew it. It's kind of mental. If you don't trust that knee, you're not going to cut on it the way you used to. If you're looking at like the video almost a month ago that Rome put out Cowboys fan talk. If you look at the videos of Diggs working out, man, he's cutting left, right, stopping on a dime. Like he trusts his knee 100%. He's off the pup list. He was off the pup list quick when training camp started. Started on the pup list, and like a week later was off of it. I think week one, if he's not 100%, he'll be close to it, and he will be shadowing Amari. I would trust him on Amari more than Bland. I know that. Deron Bland had a great year last year. Broke the NFL all-time record for 5 pick sixes, had 9 total interceptions. His second season was almost a mirror image of Trayvon Diggs' second season. Diggs year two had 11 picks. I think he took 3 to the house. You know what I mean? He did get beat on some big plays. I think he allowed like 1,000 receiving yards that year. But a lot of that, I say, was due to that free safety we had, KZ, who couldn't take an angle to save his life. Playing pretty similar last year. You know what I mean? He was like boom or bust. And if he wasn't booming, he was getting DK Metcalf, like against Seattle. Metcalf was running that boy up and down the field in the first half. In the second half, Dan Quinn went up to Gilmore and said, cover 14. And 14 didn't have another catch in the game. But it was, his first time playing on the outside in the NFL level. As a rookie, Jay Lou goes down, Blaine goes in the slot, wows everybody, his 5th-round pick. Year two, he's starting slot cornerback with, Jordan Lewis behind him. And then Diggs goes down, so he goes to the outside. And he played good for all intents, really good. You couldn't ask for more. Especially from a guy in the 5th round. Made first team All-Pro. So, in reality, got 2 first team All-Pro bookend corners. We haven't had that. Shit. We haven't had 2 first team All-Pro starting cornerbacks. I can't even remember when. 95, right? Prime. But Larry Brown, he wasn't a first team All-Pro. He was good. No. Kevin Smith and Prime, I think, were the last time we had 2 first team All-Pro corners. Kevin Smith was a first team All-Pro at least one season, I believe. So you're talking about 30 years ago. It's been since we've had 2 corners that, can elevate to that stature. Kalen Carson. If he don't wow in the third, if he don't like just blanket everybody he covers in the 3rd preseason game, I think Gilmore is no, it's too late. Gilmore to sign with somebody else. So Kalen Carson, he better freaking deliver. I think Blaine and Diggs will be the best lockdown duo corners either this season or for sure next season. Yeah, you see, that's kind of what I'm wondering about. I don't know. I know Diggs is there. I know he's at that level. I don't know if Bland is yet. I was saying if Diggs didn't go down after week 2 last season, he would have emerged, I think, as the best corner in the NFL. I do. I think Diggs was at that point where he wasn't just a ball hawk, that he had learned to hone his skills into not just being a ball hawk, but to being a shutdown corner. You got some cornerbacks that like to get the big stats, a lot of picks. But the truly great cornerbacks, the truly great ones, they don't have a whole lot of interceptions every year because they don't get thrown at. You know what I mean? In 21, Diggs had 11 picks because he got thrown out a lot. He was a second-year player. Last season, Bland got thrown out a lot. Second-season player. That's why he had 9 interceptions. And it took up until Thanksgiving for them to NFL to figure out don't throw out routes against Deron Bland because he has a tendency to jump those and make you pay. But Deron Bland is he's on his way, and if he could play to the level, almost to the level of Diggs this season, then that would be freaking amazing. Blake, then you got Jordan Lewis in the slot. He's been, since 2017, he's been a career nickel cornerback. And then our depth is Kalen Carson. Since we don't have Gilmore signed, I forgot with who, it was Minnesota or something like that. I really wanted Gilmore for that depth piece. Just depth is everything. If we didn't have him last season, we'd have been, oh man, it would have been bad. It was like the 22 season when Anthony Brown went down. We had a revolving door trying to fill that cornerback 2 spot. It couldn't be done. You know, Diggs goes down last season. You still Gilmore. Blank could step up, and then Jordan Lewis into the slot. Depth is so key. So Kalen Carson, I'm hoping, is the real deal. Or just plays good enough as a rookie. So if any, buddy misses time, if Diggs, Bland, or J. Lou misses any kind of time, Kalen Carson can step in and play good ball. That is super key. Safety room, we got depth at the wazoo. Linebacker this season, finally we have a real linebacking room. You know what I mean? Last season we started the season last year with how many true linebackers on the roster? What, Vander Esch, Damone Clark. Overshawn was hurt in the offseason, so week 1 against the Giants, we only started with 2 starting caliber linebackers. This season we got 4 or 5 starting caliber linebackers on the roster that will make the team. So we have depth there. We lost Sam Williams to injury. We lost Dorrance Armstrong and Dante Fowler, as you know, to Washington. That's 3 defensive ends from last year, not playing this season. So we added Carl Lawson. We had a Marshawn Nealon. And then at defensive tackle, I think Gallimore was the only guy to go that we let walk. So besides Gallimore and Jonathan Hankins, who wasn't living up to what we traded for, it's 2 DTs that we lost, but we bring in Jordan Phillips and Linville Joseph, so that kind of balances out. Even at 35, I think Linville Joseph will be a bigger impact than Neville Gallimore was last season, or the year before, or the year before that. It's all 4 of his years. I had high hopes for him too. And the 22 season, when he got hurt in training camp, in preseason, I was disappointed because I thought that was going to be his breakout year. But Gallimore never came into form. Osa, his contract year is this year. Now that he's finally got some decent one techs to play beside him, he hasn't had that, his first 3 seasons. Some decent, adequate one technique guys to play beside him. I think Osa Digizua could have a breakout season of 10 plus sacks, as he is very good at getting to the quarterback from the inside position. Excited to see what this defense does. I thought last season that the 23 defense had the potential to be one of the, single season greats. I keep saying it's like the no-fly zone or the LOB or the O2 buck. But I think my wife sends a text. She knows I'm doing a video. What would you text me? But this season now, being that we're addressing, the actual Achilles heel of the defense at defensive tackle and have true linebackers, not, 220-pound safeties playing linebacker, have true linebackers. I think this defense in 24 could possibly live up to one of those styles of defense, that can, play as complement the offense as well, as can be in today's NFL, but be as good as the LOB or the no-fly zone. Show up when we need them to, like in the playoffs against Green Bay, didn't show up. A defense that could show up in a game like that. A defense that can show up whenever Dak is and the offense is stagnant and still shut down the opposing offense, keeping us in the game. I heard Overshawn is working on the bands in practice. Yeah, DeMarvion Overshawn, he's gonna be ready to roll, man, because he got hurt in the beginning of training camp last year. So he's had a whole year, and he's in his second year, young 20s. Yeah, he's going to be ready. He was supposed to be, you know, besides Mozzie, the star of the draft last year. A lot of hype on that kid. I'm excited to see what he could do. I just hope we can stop the run. Yeah, Blake, that's what these moves are. That's what these moves are for. You know, Jordan Phillips. We make a trade for him, and I knew we were going to bring in Linval Joseph. I said it for months that if we signed any defensive tackle, even though that you got a Lawrence guy out there, you've got younger cats out there, that we'd bring Linval Joseph in because he's a Mike Zimmer guy. He knows the defense. and in 2022, you know, we picked him up halfway through the year. I apologize. Hold on one second. My wife just don't get the damn picture. We Philly picked up Linval Joseph halfway through the 22 season, and he started and played in the 8 games that they had him for. So if he can be close to that for us this season, that'd be a win. We were giving him $4 million, which is actually surprising for us to give a free agent that. We usually don't spend any money close to that on a free agent, but 1 year, $4 million for Linval Joseph. Carl Lawson, his deal maxes out at 2.125, all incentive based. Like if we make the playoffs, he'll get 500,000, this and that. So he'll get that part of it because we're gonna make the playoffs. Jordan Phillips is a 1 year, 1.79 million. So they're paying Linval Joseph more than Lawson and Jordan Phillips combined to come join this defensive line. 35 years old, he must still have, you know, the want to. He won the Super Bowl in 2011 with the Giants. A lot of people don't know he goes that far back. He was drafted by the Giants in 2010, won the Super Bowl with them in 2011. He's had a lot of stops. In 2014, he goes to Minnesota, plays with them through 2019, and then 2020 and 2021, he is I think he's still with Minnesota there. Philly in 22, Buffalo last year. He didn't do much with Buffalo last season. Last season, he played in 7 games. He didn't start any. 12 tackles, 7 solo, 1 sack. Carl Lawson, even though he's a big body defensive end, he does have the capability of having a big sack season like Sam Williams, who we were hoping to see him have a breakout year this year. But like Carl Lawson, who was drafted in 2017, his highlight season was his rookie year, where he was with Cincy. He had 8.5 sacks his rookie season. Last season, he had 7, I believe. Yeah, and who was he? Yeah, with the Jets. So Carl Lawson had 7 sacks last year with the Jets, so he has a capability of at least getting you 6. Randy Gregory, whenever he would play a full season for us, would max out with 6 sacks, you know, but he would get good pressure on the quarterback. So that's what made him valuable when he was with us. When he went to Denver, he just fell off a cliff. But if Carl Lawson can deliver with 5 or 6 sacks, that is a huge win, especially what we're paying him. And if he can, you know, with his 260-pound frame, be, you know, good at stopping the run too, because he says he feels refreshed. He feels like a rookie again. I mean, he's talking, you know, a lot about his second chance at life in the NFL after a disappointing stint with the Jets. CVK to Deep is that the channel is growing. See the channel. Yeah, I mean, it's getting there. It's like the road to 500 is uphill. But I think once I hit 500, I think it'll start to grow even faster. And I can't wait for that 500 to hit because we'll have the raffle for the Emmitt Smith Rookie of the Year card. I think that'll be a big hit. If you hold on to that card long enough, it'll be worth some prime real estate because nobody will ever break Emmitt's all time rushing record. It's not a rushing league anymore like it used to be. He's 3-time Super Bowl champion, all '90s decade team. Hall of Famer. Card's gonna be worth a lot of money. And when at 1,000, the Larry Allen autograph football, that I mean, especially being that he passed away not too long ago at a young age. He passed away on vacation in Mexico. I mean, it's I don't know. It seemed like that'd be just like a weird time to exit this world on vacation. But yeah, when at 1,000, the raffle for that autograph football will be in play. So whoever subbed will be involved in that raffle. And I've got no problem giving this stuff away to help grow the channel because I love this with a passion of mine. It's like I take this from what Law said. Even though it's been 29 years, we haven't hit a chip game. Every season, we would drink the Kool-Aid. It's like TLC, My Strange Addiction. It is what it is. We've lost in the weirdest ways to not get to a chip game. Almost like it's been a curse. And that's why last season was so disappointing because we finally broke the Jimmy Johnson curse, put him in the Ring of Honor where he belonged. And once we did that, Philly goes on a nosedive from 10-1 to 11-6, and we steal the 2 seed. We got 2 home playoff games, and we're thinking, boom, the curse is broken. We won 16 in a row at the crib. We got Green Bay coming in. We're going to rock them. And then probably have Detroit come in round 2, give them a taste of what we gave them earlier. And then we'll finally be back in the chip game in the Bay Area against San Fran. Unless they got beat, then we'd be at home again. And it didn't happen. It was the worst playoff defeat since Minnesota in '09. But that game, wasn't that surprising. Minnesota was, I think, a 2 seed. You know what I mean? And just a much better team than us. We had a younger team come in our crib, and it was in the third quarter, wasn't the deficit like 32 points at one point in time? A 32-point deficit is really bad. And then the year before that, we beat Tampa, right? And then we go to San Fran. We're playing good ball. And then our biggest weapon of that season, Tony Pollard, goes down with a broken leg. If you don't go down with a broken leg, that was a 7-point game, guys. In 2022, PFF had Tony Pollard ranked as the second most explosive player in the NFL behind one Tyreek Hill. That's what kind of impact TP had in 2022. So Terrence Steele goes down late in the season. He's like the best run blocking right tackle that year. And then TP goes down in the second quarter of the Niner game. And it was a nip and tuck game at the time too. And after that, we have Zeke with a partially torn PCL. We got Lamb, who's balling, but triple covered because we had Gallup on one leg. Don't have Brandon Cooks yet. Jake Ferguson was just a rookie. So Dalton Schultz was starting tight end. The year before that, round 1 exit, 6-point game. Quarterback draw. Don't have enough time to get to the line of scrimmage to spike it. When you had Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, a damn good set of receivers to throw a 30-yard pass into the end zone. And then 2018, allowed 200-yard rushers when we had a defense that year. And one of those guys had one leg, Todd Gurley. He was running on one leg, had 100 yards on the ground against us. 2016, we make an amazing comeback. Dak's rookie year. It's 31 all. 10 seconds left. Aaron Rodgers gets blindsided, sacked by Jeff Heath. He like this, and he does not fumble. I mean, he didn't even smell Jeff Heath coming on the blitz. Boom. And then smart enough to call a timeout. There was like four. It was like 7 seconds left. No timeouts. He's Jared Cook on a 40-yard out route to get in field goal range. Like, how the hell does that happen? And then before that, it's what? Dez Bryant didn't catch a ball. So it's like every which way that can happen to keep us having a chip game happens. In 2007, Terrell Owens breaks his leg week 15 at Carolina. If that don't happen, Owens is 100% in that game. I don't think we lose. I know the Giants beat Green Bay, and I know they beat undefeated Patriots in the Super Bowl with a healthy Randy Moss. But if Terrell Owens doesn't break his leg in 07 in week 15, I know he played in the Giant playoff game, but he was 40% at best. I don't care what it says. You don't go week 16, week 17. That's 4 weeks recovering from a broken leg to play in a playoff game. So Terrell Owens was a non-factor. So, when you're the number one seed, all you got to do is win one freaking game and you're in the chip game. That didn't happen. 06, Romo fumbles a snap. I mean, the craziest things happen in January to us. But eventually, things have to change. Like Cincinnati hadn't been to a Super Bowl since the 80s. Out of nowhere in 2021, they roll all the way to it. And if it wasn't, for a loaded Rams team, they probably would have won, a Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl. And then we got Detroit. Goes to the chip game, hasn't been to the chip game since 92. And all of a sudden, last season, they look good in 22, but, that's no guarantee that you're going to be better the next year. And then last season, they came Jared Goff. I mean, I didn't think much of him as a quarterback with the Rams. He looked like a product of the system with Sean McVay. That's why even though they made it to a Super Bowl with him, they still got rid of him for Matthew Stafford. And when he did that, they won a Super Bowl. Then he goes to Detroit, Jared Goff, and looks like an all-star quarterback. I mean, looked very good. So I think this season will really let us know what kind of quarterback Jared Goff is, especially when he comes into our house. It's crazy how something always happens in the most important games. Yeah, exactly what I was just saying. Yes, Blake, you're exactly right. The craziest things, you can't even make it up. I mean, we have to live with it, and every year we come back for more. It is what it is. Mr. Neil Trev Nielsen is the way I'm pronouncing that. I didn't like the trade at all at first. A lot of Detroit fans did. Yeah, whenever y'all got Jared Goff, because he looked like a product of McVay's system. And Dan Campbell, I don't know if y'all remember Dan Campbell when he was a player, but he was a tight end for us in 2003 when Bill Parcells was coaching the team. Remember very vividly watching him play for us. And he's not the best offensive innovator like Sean McVay was. So we're thinking Sean McVay is making Jared Goff look a lot better than he is. But maybe, after so many seasons, the first round pick that Goff has been, he started living up to. Because Dan Campbell's more of a rah-rah, change of culture, disciplinarian type coach, not a Andy Reid offensive genius type guy. Dan Campbell's the type of coach that'll get a team up to play a football game, something that some coaches do not possess, like Mike McCarthy. McCarthy's done great. 3 straight 12-win seasons. Cowboys have never done that. Now, there's asterisks by that because we have done that, but better. In the 90s, won 12 games, won 13, won 12. So, won 12 games, won 13, but haven't won 12 3 3 seasons in a row, which is pretty good for Mike. But sometimes, Mike can't seem to get the team up for certain games. When I went to Buffalo last season, that was a lot of money to go up there last minute to catch that game. We're on a 5 game winning streak. I'm sipping the Kool Aid. You know, hard. I go up there to Buffalo to watch us win a big road game, and we just get run over. And I'm sitting there in the stands with my buddy, and it's cold and it's wet. And I'm like, damn, man, of all away games, I chose this one. I see James Cook running with impunity. I see Dak can't hit nobody. We can't run the ball. Oh my gosh, 31-3, and we finally scored a touchdown. And then Bills Mafia let us have it on the way out of the stadium. All they could say was, here we go, just mocking Dak. The experience was cool, but when you spend $2,500 on an away game, you want to see your team win, or at least a good game. You don't want to see your team get their ass kicked. Is what it is, though. Yeah, we rely on our coordinators just as much as the head coach, almost. Yeah, our coordinators have been pretty good. Now, I give Mike credit for this. He cut loose with Kellen Moore after 2022 because he wanted to do it his way. He's figuring if I'm going to go out and not get a contract extension, I'm going to go out doing it my way, which that's where you got to approach it. So last season, he changed, Kellen Moore, you out of here. I'm running the offense. Changes a whole system to a West Coast scheme. Dak's never played him before. Lamb's never played him before. And it takes us about half a season to start to catch on, and then they do, and we were what? We were in the top 5 in points and yards on offense. Still a top 5 offense under a completely new scheme, and Mike McCarthy was calling the plays. So, how much better do you think we're going to be in the second year of this West Coast scheme when all the players know it, 10 times better than they did last year, starting with week 1, and then having Jake Ferguson in his 3rd year, who is Travis Kelce 2.0. This kid, Jake Ferguson, is going to be the star of stars of tight ends, man. Y'all watch this kid play in year 3. He's going to eclipse 1,000 yards with no problem, and he's going to die. He's going to take over a few games by himself, kind of like Lamb does. In the games that Lamb gets boxed up, Jake Ferguson's going to gut whatever defense is doing that. Was Dan Campbell decent as a player? I got to the NFL late to remember. Yeah, he played tight end for us. He was a tight end. Yeah, he was one of them physical, rah-rah type players as he is coach. I remember him vividly because I've got a Rolodex in my head. I've got a memory like an elephant. In 2003, Bill Parcells' first season with us, we lose week 1 against Atlanta. Week 2 is at the Giants. And it was the craziest back and forth game. Goes into overtime. And we win it. In that overtime drive, Quincy Carter hits Dan Campbell. And he runs over 2 guys. Gets him the first down. Gets us in the field goal range. And he had long hair too, I believe, man. And I was like, damn. That Dan Campbell, that guy, pretty good tight end. Same year that we drafted Jason Witten. After that, I don't remember where he played, but yeah, he was pretty good at tight end. I mean, not elite, but he would have been a tight end 2 on any team. Whenever players become coaches, that works out most of the time. Like D'Amico Ryans. I said whenever the Texans hired Ryans that they would finally become a football team, and I didn't think it would be that quick. So that's why this season, the interstate game rivalry between Cowboys and Texans is going to be big, because it ain't going to be like it was, 22? Texans are really bad, and we still made the game really hard on ourselves. It went down to a game-winning drive. last drive of the game. Jason Peters came in to play right tackle because Terrence Steele went out. Um, Sometimes we can play down our competition. We don't do that often. We usually run over the bad teams, struggling against the good teams. But this season, if Houston is playing like they were last year, it's like week 10 or 11 we play. That's going to be a big game too. Because there's a ton of big games this season. Starting with Cleveland, and then Baltimore is going to be a freaking huge game. Then at Pittsburgh is going to be a huge game. And then after that, Detroit's going to be a huge game. Then San Fran's going to be a huge game. That's 5 off the cuff. And then both Philly games are going to be big. The Texan game is going to be big. The Bengals game is going to be big. I mean, it's going to be a shoot, man. If you're a Cowboy fan this season and you have heart troubles, you better go to your doctor, let them know what the deal is, so you got the right heart medication. I don't believe I have heart trouble. And last season, a few games almost met the Lord, referring to that Detroit game, the Seattle game. Those are some nail biters right there. Boy, that Seattle game, that's what epitomizes what Jake Ferguson is. Because during the game, we're trailing the entire time. In the third quarter, Jake Ferguson, catches the ball, runs over 2 guys, gets a first down, and then walks in front of Quandre Diggs and somebody else and, imposes his will, first down, in front of their face. Jamal Adams don't like it. Jamal Adams, bad boy rap, gets in Jake Ferguson's face, and Jake don't back down. He gets, face mask to face mask. And then to win the game, it's Adams on Ferguson. Ferguson snatches that ball and then looks Jamal Adams in the eye, right? Stares him down in the end zone. I love the attitude that 87 has. That's, man, if the offensive line holds up and plays like they can play, Tyler Guyton is who we think he is. Connor Beebe or Brock Hoffman played better than Biotis did at center. Then this offense is going to be freaking dynamic. Lamb is going to play every game, barring injury. People that are afraid that he's going to hold out and miss games, even Micah Parsons, guaranteed, September 8th, he's going to be suited up. The training he's doing right now is more tough than what they're doing in Oxnard. He's training in 100-degree weather. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. So when the contract is signed, he's going to be ready to roll. His whole career in the NFL, his quarterback's been Prescott. They're on the same page all the time, basically. He ain't going to miss a beat. Him, Brandon Cooks, Tolbert, who's emerging, Ferguson as this phenom tight end with adequate backup tight ends, a young offensive line. Dak in his 9th year. And Rico, I think Rico's got a shot at having a really good season. Unless we trade for, another running back, which I don't see us doing that. Ferguson's a dog. He plays with swag, too. Yeah, he does. That's what I love about it, man. He's like, that's why I say Travis Kelce 2.0. Not just because they have the same jersey number, but Travis Kelce is, very charismatic. Also, you know what I mean? He's got swag and he don't take nothing off nobody. Travis Kelce's loud. He's obnoxious, but he backs it up on the field. And in Ferguson's rookie year, Travis Kelce noticed that talent and said that, he's going to be a star. And so far, he's been proven right. What round was Jake? I think he was a 4th-round tight end, right? In 2022. That's some damn good drafting right there. 2022, 4th round, you get a star tight end. 5th round, you get a first-team All-Pro cornerback. You get a good linebacker in Damone Clark. That 22 draft, I believe this year's draft was as good as that 22 draft. And that 22 draft, we had 5 rookies make instant impacts. This season, we'll have at least 5 rookies make instant impacts. I mean, play at high level. Shoot, I've been doing this an hour. Goodness, time flies. It's nuts. What time is it, man? I gotta eat and get to bed. I gotta move all this crap out of here tomorrow and get ready to transition to the new house. Oh man, I've been saving money for the new house for moving money, so I skipped two car notes, and I was gonna call them on Sunday and make a payment like $600, two payments basically. And I waited 2 days too late because on Friday they came and took it. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh man. So instead of paying that 600 like I was going to, and it'd be fine, I had to pay like 14. That was a kick in the chops. But everything works out. If you have faith in God, faith over sight, it works out. It's been a very stressful week, but that's why I ain't been on. But it's working out. September 8th, I'll be watching week 1 at our new house, and all will be right with the world. You know what I mean? I tell you, God is good. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Hit that like button. That like button, Mike Fisher says, it beats algorithms. Basically, it gets your video viewed more. It'll pop up where it usually wouldn't pop up in other places. Subscribe, guys. Hit that like button. Share the content, please. Keep God first and foremost, because he comes before everything, even this. Seek him and his righteousness, and all these other things will be added unto you. I'm a living testimony of that. I'm a walking, living testimony of the Christian life. I mean, I've got testimonies that'll blow your socks off. But yeah, it's Wednesday, guys. You have a good rest of the week. I'll probably be on, because I'm gonna stay. We'll be out of here tomorrow, Friday the latest, and then we don't move until the 1st. So I'm just gonna get a hotel for like 9-10 days. So when I come next video, it'll probably be from like the rec room at the Wyndham or something like that. And then when I get my first video from our new crib, that'd be like a celebration video, home warming video, show. I say video because I used to do videos. Now I'm doing live shows now, because people actually participate in them, which I do appreciate each and every one of y'all. So everybody who was here in the room, in the chat, thanks for participating, guys. Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report is going to grow. It's going to become one of the shows you look forward to watching. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that. I don't have inside information like Mike Fisher. I don't work for the Star. I'm not in the locker rooms. I'm not interviewing players personally. I don't have the hookups like Law Nation does. I mean, Law has got to the point where he's so big now where he's got connections. You know what I mean? Inside connections. I don't have those yet either. You know what I mean? But I do have 30 years of watching this team. I've got my entire life devoted to the sport. I think my take, I believe, is pretty good. I believe most of the time it's on the money. If not, it's pretty damn close. But yeah, guys, keep watching. Subscribe. Check me out in a couple of days. Hopefully, it's another acquisition. If we bring in a young running back, then that'll be the last piece of the puzzle on paper. We brought in 2 defensive tackles and a defensive end. If we bring in a running back, a young one, that'll be the last piece of the puzzle on paper. You know that the running back, the hell is his name, that the Jets took, that's looking pretty good in preseason. He's going to be a hell of a tandem with Breece Hall. That's going to be a hell of a tandem with Rodgers at quarterback. That's the running back I wanted to draft when we traded back in round 1 to get a second, third round pick. We still got Guyton. And then pick 87, I knew he was going to get a running back. I knew it. And then they call, we get a linebacker. And I was like, what the hell? You would think we'd want a running back with fresh legs, a rookie, but that didn't happen. But if we trade for a Damon Pierce or somebody like that, that'll be the last piece of the puzzle. But even if we don't, I believe the combination of Rico, being the all-purpose back, Zeke being the banger that he is, and Deuce finally showing that he might be able to do something. If he could be that Boston Scott or that Darren Sproles type back, if Deuce Vaughn can be that Darren Sproles type back, he don't even have to be as good as Sproles was. Just close to what Darren Sproles was when he was with San Diego, with the Chargers back in '08, '07. That little jitterbug. Sproles was what, 5'8"? Deuce is 5'6". That short jitterbug, back, that'd be a perfect combination to the banger in Zeke and Rico's, all around ability. But yeah, there's a lot to be excited about this season. We got one more preseason game. A lot of cuts are about to happen, and then September's gonna roll around, baby, and get your popcorn ready because it's gonna be a show. I'll catch y'all guys next time. Be safe. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. I'm closing out. Charles in charge. Cowboy Sports Report is out. I'm tired. I'm gonna eat and hit the sack. See y'all guys later. Deuce.